right, good morning everyone again. My name is Bibi Eneje. I'll introduce myself in a bit. But just as a beginner, we're talking about personal branding beyond visibility. And as we go into it, you would quite understand why I added beyond visibility. When Kaka sends the topic of today's workshop as attention by design, it was a lot of English, in her email. And if you know us, we're very unserious. So imagine receiving a very serious email from somebody who you know is very unserious. You'd be worried, right? But I've tried my best to sort of, break this down to the most easiest way to explain it. And I hope that you're able to go along with me. Are we together? Yeah. It's going to be more interactive. So I'm not necessarily teaching you. I'm mostly going to be asking questions, and we're going to sort of come to certain conclusions together. Is that fine? So I'll need your full attention, involvement, gists, all of everything. Okay. So my name is Beatrice. They call me Bibi, so Bibi Eneje. I'm a multidisciplinary entrepreneur, meaning I have a couple of businesses across different industries. I don't work in one industry. I currently own the Work Haven, and I'm the founder of Cora and Hive Communications. I'm also a PR and communications expert. I'm an author and an advisor. So I can say that I'm in a very good position to take this conversation. Thank you. All right. So my first question, we're going into it. First question. And I want as many people to answer, and answer out loud. So don't answer it to yourself. What do people trust you for? You don't have to explain it. Like she said, she's very passionate about personal branding. There's nobody else. I feel like people know me for personal branding. I wish people knew me for, things like diesel, oil wells, things like that bring millions, big money. But yeah, I'm very passionate. Like I said, I'm very passionate about building legacies. And legacies does not only mean businesses, it means people, right? So I'm passionate about building people. And personal branding is one way that I'm able to do that. So what do people trust you for? This question was typically when I have conversations about personal branding, they're mostly entry-level beginner conversations. So I have to go through the explanation of, personal branding is this, it's not this. But I kind of feel like with the list of people Kaka shared with me that were coming, I'm like, they have an idea of what personal branding is. They've probably started, and they're like, okay, I don't want to do this one. I want to do basically you're understanding yourself and reinventing yourself as you go, correct? Good, so we're on a different level of conversation here. Okay, so now that's why I didn't ask the question of what you want to be known for. It means you already know what you want to be known for. And then, but now we need to be sure of what your actions communicate, right? So we're going to move into the next bit. So this session is about personal branding beyond visibility, like I said. It's about what anchors your work, your identity. It's about what people trust you for. And it's also about what keeps your work valuable over time. And I know I'm saying work a lot, and I'm going to get into one bit of what I like to say. Personal branding is not your job. It's not your work. It's not what you do. It's not your expertise. It's more about your personality. It's more about you than what you do. And I'll give you a short example. I work in PR. Kaka works in PR. We're best friends. We both own 2 different agencies. But then when you do look at the way we work, the kind of people that we work with and how we express ourselves to these people, it's very different. We can both be called experts in our own rights. But what makes people come to Kaka is different from what makes people come to me, right? Every time you see Kaka, you see all the cute fashion girlies, like you can see. Fashion girlies, lifestyle, beauty, all of the people that are very outside. When you see me, everybody that wants to hide but still be visible, that's where you find me. Confuse people, but then God knows why. So personal branding is more about who you are and what drives the work that you do. So it's no longer about, I'm a digital marketer and I know how to do digital marketing. It's about why you are a digital marketer. Are we together? Okay. Why does this session matter? When visibility is easy to manufacture, clarity becomes a differentiator. I know that's a lot of English. Last year, or 2 years ago, or in the last 2 years, let's put it that way, the one thing everybody was looking to grab was attention. And you would agree with me that it's easier to grab attention now than it was before. Go and dance. Turn on your camera and dance, right? You know, join a trend. In December, people were pinning things on cakes. If you did this, let me see your hand up. Thank you very much for being truthful. You know, people were pinning things on cakes saying, I bought a car. I bought, and I know I'm like, okay, what do I have to come and tell people that I bought? And I mean, they're not buying anything. But yeah, visibility is easier to manufacture because I can buy a page with 200,000 followers today. And I start to post my pictures from when I went to Mykonos and when I went to, you know, wherever. And when I was at the UN, that I did not speak, but I went to the mic to take pictures. You know, and I can go for my friend's event. I did not organize it, but I can just walk around and be doing like this, and I have a content person capturing me. I can manufacture all of that because we're in a very interesting society that values perception more than reality, right? So we can curate what we want you to see. But the thing is, when I move past my phone, where I know you, and I meet you in person, what do I get to experience? That's what we're trying to build today. The clarity that's the differentiator between you and the next person. You know, it's not about trying to get followers or becoming popular. It's about attracting the opportunities that are right for you, the collaborations that are right for you, right? Are we together? Yes. Do we need coffee? Do we need coffee? Okay. So let's meet my first case study. I called her Chioma. She has a strong online presence, aka she has 300K followers. She has frequent invitations, so any brand can send her an invitation to anything. She has a growing audience, so she can post 4 times a day. People are following her. But then sometime along the line, she finds out that what she's interested in is not what she's being called for. So she probably wants to impact the girl child. She wants to do more social impact work. She wants to do this, she wants to do that, but she's only getting invited to parties, right? Or she's only getting collaborations with upcoming musicians. Or she's only getting, you know, low-level offers. And if you even think about this in a professional context, imagine that you're probably looking for a board role and somebody's in your LinkedIn DM every other day saying, we have this entry-level role for 400K 3 times a week. You know, obviously you are communicating something else or something other than you want to communicate, right? Okay, so now the next person is Mr. Kola. Limited online visibility. He might have 3K, 5K, 7K, 10K followers. He's not pursuing trends. He's not trying to be part of all the dragging that is going on. He's not setting ring lights every time a couple is fighting online, you know, to give his own 2 piece or 2 cents of advice, you know. He's not aggressively telling people every day that I'm the best in this field, anything you want. But every time he says something, somebody somewhere understands that this is the person I need to speak to. You know, he has strong referrals, he has long-term relationships, and then he has consistent inbound work. This is the difference between shouting online and communicating who you are. Are we together? Yeah. Okay. So the next point I said here is attention is not the same as alignment, and I think we've established that fact now, right? So what do we do? Where do we start from? What are we doing next? How do we move from this? But before then, what is personal branding? It's not your aesthetics. It's not your content. is not just your brand colors. It's a combination of different things. It's clear position. It's not formed by your posts, it's by your patterns. So when you post, when you speak, when you show up, are these consistent? You know, it's not about curating your feed. It's not even about Instagram. It's not about social media only. It's about a consistent pattern. It's about how you show up and who you show up as in the different places that people get to experience you, right? It's also about credible expression. This was supposed to be credible work, but when I was reviewing the slides, I said not work because for me, personal branding, again, is not your work. It would trickle into your work or into your business, but it's not entirely that. So what credible expression is basically what people trust you for. And people trust what they can predict, in the sense that when I tell Eddie, please, my event starting by 12, I can almost always trust that at 11:30, Eddie is set up. Right? You know, I can always trust that if I do have a project that requires beauty influencers or beauty entrepreneurs or the likes, I can call Kaka at 2 a.m. and she has a list of 50 people waiting. You know, what do people trust that whenever they come to you for, it would be delivered at a certain level? It's not content. It's not just Instagram. So think of social media as a way to express who you are. Social media is not who you are. Social media is a way to express who you are. There are different ways people meet you. These you can call touch points. There are different touch points to your brand. Digital, physical. So let's put it at digital and physical, right? Digital, you have social media, Instagram, Facebook, all of them under social media. And then physical, when I meet you in person, when I work with you, when you hire me, because every time we talk about personal branding, we talk about opportunities that are coming to you, not the one you're giving out. When you hire me, what's my experience with you? There has to be like a pattern with all of those things that sort of align and show up every time. How you talk online, is it the way you express yourself when I meet you? In person. The things you champion online, girl power, justice for, is that how it is
If I say my product is like this,
is that what it is? Exactly. Is that what it is? So it's not necessarily about the content that you post. It's a part of it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. And then the final one is your consistent behavior over time. So going back to the pattern, what can people always predict about you? Okay? Are we together?
Yes.
All right. Now, there's something I like to call the core of your brand. Basically, what your brand is built upon. It's built upon clarity. First of all, what you stand for. And for clarity, I like to ask 3 questions. Number 1, what do you like? Number 2, what do you know? And number 3, what do you want to change? You can think about it. You can put it down. Should I give you 2 minutes to think about that? Okay, so number 1, let's start from what do you know? Number 2, what do you like? And number 3, what do you want to change? And by what do you want to change, I don't mean that you must be the change agent of the year. It just means what do you want to do better? What do you want to stop? So the question can be contextualized, you know, to what you want it to be. So what do you know? What do you like? And what do you want to change? That would help you build clarity about you, right? It would help you build clarity about what kind of person you are. You know, what you know and what you like can be 2 different things. And so you need to find out how they would meet. Or what you like and what you want to change can be 2 different things. So when you think about it, you need to then find out how they would meet. So that will give you clarity. The next bit is ownership. So when you're clear about who you are, how do you want to show up as that person? How does that person speak? Where does that person speak? Who does that person talk to? You know, who are the people that person is aligned with? Who do you want that person to be seen with? Obviously, if you know that you want to run for presidency one day, you know that for a fact you shouldn't be on Instagram naked. You know, who do you want to be aligned with? The next is relevance. What are the problems you solve by being you, by knowing what you know, by liking what you like, by aligning yourself with the people you're aligning yourself with? What are the problems that you solve? And no problem is too small. That's also very important for you to remember. There's no problem that is too small. It might be very trivial to you, but it holds weight to a full community somewhere. You never know. And the last one is, how intentionally do you communicate it? So the core: clarity, ownership, relevance, and expression. So I have one question again now. Like I said, I'm a teacher. So what part of your work feels most true, even when it's not being seen?
Yes, what do you mean?
What do I mean? Okay. Kaka says, oh, Bibi is the best person for personal branding, XYZ, 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 right? Before you met Kaka, did you know Bibi? But then it's very important to me to ensure that I'm able to help leaders, people who want to make a change, people who are impact catalysts. I want to help them tell their stories. That's very important to me. So after all of the fights to gain attention or to be visible or to be seen, what's truly important to me is that if I meet Toby, I know that Toby wants to, build solar panels for 72 villages in Africa. That's the story I want to tell personally. That's what matters to me. That's the part of my work that matters to me. Does that make sense? It doesn't have to be that deep. That's my own. Your own, the part of the work that matters to you is that you make money. That's the end. There are certain people you've probably known, your uncles, who don't care about Instagram or Facebook. In fact, the only thing they come to Facebook to do is to say happy birthday to one uncle that you don't know, or to just maybe comment under your post and be like, my daughter, you are doing well, the Lord bless you. But the one thing that's important to these people is that their family is well fed. You think that's not part of a personal brand? Their family is well fed. Their daughter is in the best school, or their daughter is in the best job, or she's comfortable, she's driving the best car, she's okay, she's not going to look for anything. That's what concerns them, and so that's going to be the driving force of everything they do. So even times when they'll be doing jobs that seem stupid to you, they know that this job is going to pay me to take care of my daughter. So they are going to show up with commitment, they are going to show up with loyalty, they are going to show up with hard work, but it may not make sense to you. Does that make sense? So what is that thing for you? That thing for you that even if I don't see it or I don't understand it, it makes sense for you. First of all, this is like Kaka put it, a thinking room for creators, entrepreneurs, founders. So I started from your work for a reason. Because the truth is, of everything I'm talking about, the one place that you're going to express this more is your work. Because when you figure out who you are, what's driving you, what you love, what you know, what you want to change, the one place you express this the most is how you show up at work, most times. So I think the one thing that many of you have been able to do right now is understand your core message without making it a textbook definition. Remember the first thing I said was gaining clarity. The core of building your brand is gaining clarity, understanding what you know, what you like, and what you want to change. And in this conversation, I've heard a lot of that. So if you were able to sit down with the first two questions I asked you, sit down with what you wrote, and think through the responses you just gave me to this question, you're going to find basically the reason why you do what you do and why you show up how you show up. Now, what this will do for you is, A, you will either go full throttle, so you will intentionally continue to show up like that, or B, you decide that this is not how you want to show up, and you can find a way to change how you want to show up. Does that make sense? So for the next bit, I want you to write a short core message based on what you've thought through. So I'll give you about 5 minutes to do this. I'll be quiet in those 5 minutes. Right? I am committed to building relevance through what you told me right now, even if it means slower attention in the short term. Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. I want you to read this again to yourself, not to me, because it's a personal thing. Basically, what this is a practical tool for you. It would help you choose when to speak, what to amplify, and what to ignore. And underneath here, I have a question that says, what kind of attraction or attention would actually distract you from the work you're meant to do? So if you do understand what you're building towards, even if it means slower visibility, even if it means slower attention, even if it means a trickling audience, you don't have a massive following yet or a massive audience yet, you know what exactly you're building, you know how to show up, you know who to speak to, you are able to discern when it comes to the opportunities that come your way. You're able to say no to certain people because you know that they do not align with where you're going or what you're trying to build. So the question then will now be, what would distraction look like? Because it's good to start to prepare now, you know. What would distraction look like? Don't wait for the distraction to come first, and then in the middle you're like, hey, distraction, don't show. Imagine that you have a list of things now that you already understand that, no, this is going to be a distraction, this is going to be a distraction, this is going to be a distraction. For example, I know that next year I want to go to Oxford. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it has to happen. And I know that certain things will look like distractions at the moment, so I'm preparing for those things. I'm not saying that I'm going to be foolproof. It means that certain things might come along the way that would not happen, that would not, take me to where I'm going to. It also means that some things will come that look like distractions, but they are also points for me to pivot and to make a different decision. So understanding where you're going, what you're doing, how you're doing it, who you're doing it for, would help you to make these decisions when these things come your way. So like I said, this is not about how to monetize your brand or how to build your personal brand. This is more of a reflection as to why you are building your personal brand. So from here, whatever you do going forward would be more intentional. It will be more impactful. It will be more targeted. Are we together? Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. I think that's the end of my class. But before I go, the goal isn't just to be seen. It's to be seen, trusted, remembered, and relevant. It's to be seen, trusted, remembered, and relevant. And with that, I shall take my seats for my next lecturer. Thank you very much, everyone.